And welcome to the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also streaming on Expert CRE Secrets, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is the best way for you to exit your business or highly appreciated real estate. I'm your host, Brett Swarts. Each episode, I am typically joined by some of the best real estate, financial, wealth, and business minds in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. But today, you just have me. It's just me talking with you today. And the title of today's topic is how I helped a Midtown Sacramento apartment owner sell and defer $1.25 million in capital gains tax using a deferred sales trust, which by default means not using a 1031 exchange. So let's set the kind of the context. This is a highly successful, very, very sophisticated, long-term multifamily and single family home owner in Sacramento. In fact, he's been doing it for over 40 years. And he has amassed a large amount of wealth in real estate. And he typically buys deals, adds value, and holds, and sometimes does 1031 exchanges. But he's more of what I like to say a collector of real estate, and would typically refinance, pull cash out, go buy more deals, and continue in that kind of that process. However, 2008, he remembers that time period, and he kind of got the sense of, well, even before that, 2006, 2007, that we're in a similar time period and that prices are so high, 1031 exchange aren't making much sense these days because deals are so hard to find, especially in California, especially in Sacramento, which was, if you don't know, one of the number one highest growing rental markets in the nation 2 years in a row, just a couple of years ago. And it's still growing rapidly right now with a lot of the migration out of the Bay Area, COVID-19, people relocating to lower cost of living, and all of those things. So he goes, look, it's a perfect time to sell. He also is looking to kind of retire and pull back a little bit. I mean, he has so many assets and so much wealth that he's going, like, I'm spending so much time and energy with management and maintenance and toilets and trash. Then you couple some of the rent control laws that are in now, then it provides a perfect opportunity for stress. And he's going, I don't need any more stress. Like I've kind of made my wealth and I'm ready to go and do something else. In fact, he wants to go up in the Lake Tahoe area and kind of just retire, spend more time with his family for the most part, right? Not that he won't do more deals in the future, but he's looking at the 1031 exchange not making a lot of sense. So I'm going to share my screen here. And I want to share with you, and I know if you're listening on the podcast, you can go to my YouTube channel to check this out. But I'm going to share my screen, and this is going to give us a little bit of context. And I'm going to break down the deal, okay? So this is the deal here. It's off of X Street, downtown, Midtown, Sacramento, just a few minutes from UC Davis Medical Center. Really nice location. And the property itself was a beautiful property that he renovated, and he added value, and he kind of maximized the rents. And so the purchase, the sales price was about $3.14 million. The debt on the property was about $1 million, but here's the key. His basis was about zero. So he's looking at the 1031. He's not seeing any deals that make any sense. And plus, for his internal motivations, which were to kind of pull back, the 1031, would require him to go into another property. Plus his business, financial decisions is saying it's not a good time to sell. So the Deferred Sales Trust literally fits perfect for him. So he's looking at it. In fact, I met with him about a year ago before he closed this. And we sat down in a coffee shop in Roseville and walked through the entire strategy. And he had to think about it for a while. And as he thought through it, he finally called me, says, I'm Brett, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. And so, but I looked at his deal and we said there were some challenges to overcome. So the first challenge he had to overcome was this debt that he had over his basis. And so if you're looking at my screen here, you see the debt of $1 million, the basis is zero. And so understanding that the Deferred Sales Trust does not defer taxes for mortgage over basis. Okay. And we can go into that on another video, but just realize that in order for him to get a zero tax transaction, we needed to replace that debt. So we had to do a partial 1031 exchange. Okay, so here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions, we still absolutely believe in the 1031 exchange, think it's great, but we got to use the tool to fit the outcome for the client. And that's what we will do here. So we say, look, we're gonna do a partial 1031 via what's called a Delaware statutory trust. So step number one is we sold the asset. Step number two, he put the funds into a qualified intermediary, one of our strategic alliances that we use that allows both the Delaware statutory trust and the Deferred Sales Trust. And then we connect it with a securities professional who offers a group that provides an interest via a Delaware a statutory trust to replace that debt. But here's the cool thing. He only needed to put about 15% down to replace that $1 million. So 15% of his of that $1 million is about $150,000. And that was able to replace the debt that he needed for the requirement. Okay, so that was step number one, replace the debt, which left the remaining amount of equity to be able to go into the Deferred Sales Trust, which allowed him to have liquidity, diversification, which is what he wanted. And also he's in passive investments at this point. So that was really, really a neat one. So we saved his 1031 exchange on this deal. We also did a partial 1031 exchange. So we designed this with our team here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions and with the Deferred Sales Trust tax attorneys to have this great outcome for him. And what does that mean for him? Again, he's kind of in the process of retiring. He's in the process of downsizing his holdings and been able to get out of debt. The debt is no longer in his name, and he has tax deferral and liquidity. So that is the deal story for today. It's how I helped a Midtown Sacramento apartment owner sell and defer about $1.25 million in capital gains tax using a deferred sales trust, also using a partial 1031 Delaware statutory trust. So if you have any questions about this deal and want to learn more, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. And if you are a business professional and you want to learn more, you can go to experttaxsecrets.com and learn how the deferred sales trust can help you grow your business. A couple of the questions, by the way, we should touch on here as well is the time value of money. So one of his biggest questions was, well, how long can this deferred sales trust go on for? And the answer is 10 years. Every 10 years, you can renew for 10 years and keep renewing that. And it can pass inside of your living trust. So essentially, as long as you'd like it to go. Now, as you receive payments, you'll pay some tax along the way. And that's the key here. It's just an installment sale. We're spreading out what would have been paid in tax. We're deferring it, putting it into the economy, into businesses, into investments that spurs economic growth. And in the meantime, as he receives payments, he pays tax back. So time value of money is important to understand. That was one of his biggest things that he wanted to understand. And then what were his investment options? That was the second thing, because he's a real estate professional, right? And he loves adding value, buying deals, being in control. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions of the deferred sales trust is, well, I'm just giving up all control and it's going to be completely passive. And that's just not the case. In fact, we just did another deal in Alabama for a business owner who sold a business and then deferred the tax. And he's building 72 units in Tennessee right now. And that is a development for him using the deferred sales trust funds, all tax deferred. And so for this, back to this deal here in Sacramento, he wanted to know that he would have the ability to go back into real estate of his own with the trust. And the answer is absolutely, we can do that. So that was really important for him versus the Delaware statutory trust, by the way, which you're giving up all control, typically 10 years, 7 to 10 years, all liquidity, and you have no say, and you kind of just got to collect the check, and that he didn't want. And so that's why he chose the deferred sales trust. The last thing that he wanted to make sure of is it could be passed inside of his living trust to his heirs, and the answer is yes. You can. The promissory note can be put inside of your living trust, and your kids can step into your shoes, and they can receive payments after you pass, and then your spouse as well. So that is the story for today and the deal close story. If you want more information, you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. And if you have a live deal that you want to discuss, you can schedule a free consultation. Our minimum is about $1 million net proceeds and at least $1 million gain. So if you have those two, then you can schedule your free consultation. Now, if you have a couple deals that add up to that, hey, that's okay too. But if it's just a one deal you have that's smaller than that, then it wouldn't be a good fit because of our fees. By the way, you can check our fees and learn more about that on some of these other videos on YouTube. And again, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn more. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast, this video, watching on YouTube. We appreciate everyone out there and hope you have a great rest of your day.